Recently, the United States made waves by choosing a Bitcoin strategic reserve after floating the idea of a cryptocurrency reserve. This decision has sparked a major question. Why Bitcoin over something like XRP? In today's video, I'm diving into two critical aspects: what the government sees in Bitcoin versus the actual technical realities of these protocols. This is a must-watch for anyone curious about the government's mindset and the technical distinctions between Bitcoin and XRP. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have seen over 70% profit with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. By the end, you'll have a deeper understanding of the XRP Ledger protocol, how it stacks up against Bitcoin, and why these differences matter. Get ready to level up your crypto knowledge with this fascinating breakdown. Let me kick off this video with a quick clarification. I've noticed some people looking at the idea of a Bitcoin strategic reserve and assuming it's a bad move. Let me tell you, it's not. In fact, I believe this is a monumental win for the entire cryptocurrency world. This sets the stage for future cryptocurrency reserves, and I genuinely think we'll see this evolve further. The US government's call to start with Bitcoin alone makes sense. It's early days, and Bitcoin is the most established option with the least room for controversy. It's a cautious yet significant first step, and I think it's a smart one. Now, I do have questions, mainly about the decision-making process. But asking those questions isn't criticism. It's about understanding the thought process behind making Bitcoin the sole focus. For me, this move is nothing short of a huge leap forward for the space, and I want to celebrate that while digging deeper into the why behind the choice. There are definitely points I agree with, and others that I think need a closer look. One topic that absolutely needs more exploration is the idea of treating Bitcoin as something entirely separate from other cryptocurrencies. To me, it's like saying the US government should stockpile apples in one reserve and fruit in another. It just doesn't add up. Why not just hold all the valuable fruit together in one place? Splitting them into separate reserves for what's essentially the same thing feels redundant. This is where my perspective diverges from much of the market. I don't see Bitcoin as fundamentally different from other cryptocurrencies. Sure, Bitcoin has unique qualities, like an incredibly distributed token supply, that make it an excellent reserve asset compared to other protocols. But for me, it's still part of the broader crypto ecosystem, not some entirely distinct category. I don't think this makes Bitcoin fundamentally different from other cryptocurrencies. Distribution is a short-term game. Over time, all properly designed protocols will see their tokens fully distributed. So while the distribution argument holds weight now, it won't matter much in the long run. Distribution is always shifting. Someone could stockpile a massive stash of Bitcoin, while Ripple, as they've promised since day one, continues to reduce its dominance over XRP. These dynamics are constantly evolving. The main difference between how Bitcoin and XRP approached distribution lies in their strategies. Bitcoin's goal was simple: let anyone jump in, mine freely, and quickly spread the tokens far and wide. This strategy was great for putting Bitcoin in the hands of many, but maybe not the right many. It succeeded in creating widespread access, but may have missed the mark in targeting those who could drive its adoption and utility forward. Let's be honest, most of the major players eyeing Bitcoin are only jumping in now. But here's the catch: the majority of Bitcoin has already been distributed, leaving very little for the big names still trying to stake their claim. The XRP Ledger took a completely different approach. It wasn't just about creating a token, it was about smart distribution. The goal? Get the token into the hands of the right people. Sure, it's open for everyone, but the design ensures there's still plenty left to power future opportunities. If someone wants to become a major player in the XRP ecosystem, it's not a case of, oops, sorry, all the tokens are gone. Unlike Bitcoin, which, let's be honest, handed out its tokens early on to tech-savvy enthusiasts who were ahead of the curve. The XRP Ledger took a more forward-thinking approach. It recognized that down the line, systemically important entities like governments and financial institutions would need access to a significant allocation. So instead of rushing to flood the market, XRP ensured there'd be enough set aside for the key players who would shape its future. One of the biggest differences, in my opinion, lies in how these networks were created. It's an area I often push back on, especially when discussing why Bitcoin deserves a separate reserve from other cryptocurrencies. David Sachs once said something interesting: Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency without an issuer. We don't even know how it came to be. And honestly, Every time I hear that, I can't help but shake my head a little. Think about it. Bitcoin didn't just materialize out of thin air. Just like the XRP ledger, Bitcoin was built by people. Both networks started the same way. A group of individuals came together and created something centralized. The difference? Over time, both networks evolved, growing more decentralized. The origin stories may be different in the details, but the fundamentals aren't as mysterious as some might claim. Bitcoin didn't start off decentralized, and neither did the XRP ledger. Yet here we are today, with both achieving full decentralization. So let's ask the real question. How is Bitcoin's beginning any different from other protocols? They all follow a similar path, starting centralized. A group of people comes together, builds the code, launches it, and creates a public centralized network. As time goes on and more participants join, these networks naturally evolve into decentralized systems. That's the crux of it. So why do we still argue that Bitcoin's origin story sets it apart? The truth is, the big difference here isn't in the tech. It's that Satoshi Nakamoto vanished, leaving an air of mystery that still captivates us. But does that really make Bitcoin so unique? I've got my own take on this, but let's set that aside for now. Here's the thing. Even if we knew who Satoshi was, it wouldn't change a thing about how the XRP ledger came to be. It's kind of funny, honestly, that some people act like the mystery of Satoshi somehow validates the creation of the Bitcoin network. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But there's a bigger conversation here, one that really gets people fired up. The distribution of the tokens. That's where things get sticky. It's not so much about how Bitcoin or the XRP ledger were created. It's about who got the tokens and how. The controversy lies in the fact that Ripple started out with a massive stash of tokens, distributing them strategically to key players. Compare that to Bitcoin, where miners earn tokens and sell them into the open market. It's two very different approaches, and let's just say, people have opinions about which is better. When it comes to distributing tokens, you've got two main approaches: Ripple distributing XRP directly, or miners releasing tokens like Bitcoin into the market. At its core, this doesn't change the network itself. It's just a different method of getting tokens out there. Miners are all about maximizing their Bitcoin stash and selling it for profit. Ripple, on the other hand, focuses on strategically placing XRP in the hands of financial institutions that actually need it. Same goal, different strategy, ensuring the tokens reach the right users. But here's the kicker. People get so caught up in debating distribution methods that they overlook the bigger picture, the decentralization of the protocol itself. Where's the focus when it really matters? Bitcoin used a complex proof-of-work system to distribute tokens to anyone willing to become a miner. This approach helped get Bitcoin into the hands of many, but it came at a cost. It made the network harder to scale. Every time new tokens were minted or consensus was reached, the protocol required solving intricate computational puzzles. While this method was effective for early distribution, it created a scalability bottleneck. Ripple took a different path. They asked, why complicate token distribution when you can focus on what truly matters, building a decentralized and efficient protocol? Instead of relying on heavy computation, Ripple prioritized distributing tokens to key contributors, ensuring the network remained streamlined and scalable. Instead of overcomplicating the token distribution process, we're cutting through the noise and focusing on speed and efficiency. The goal? To make the how of distribution irrelevant. Because eventually, the entire token supply will be fully decentralized and in the hands of the community. Simple, effective, and built for the future. You don't want the drag of proof of work weighing down the chain forever. That defeats the very purpose it was built for. The whole idea behind the chain is simple: move value effortlessly from point A to point B. But if you bake inefficiencies into the system just to focus on distribution, you risk breaking that promise. It's like adding a speed bump to a highway because you're fixated on a temporary problem while ignoring the long-term damage. Eventually, the tokens will all be distributed, but Bitcoin will still carry the burden of proof of work, a relic of trying to force what some consider a fair distribution. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that perspective. At the end of the day, the entity with the most electricity and miners essentially controls the majority of Bitcoin issuance, right? That doesn't exactly scream fair to me. But hey, some argue it's the fairest system, and I'm not here to debate that. What really matters is that this is just a short-term phase. Networks like Bitcoin started out centralized before evolving. Bitcoin tried to distribute tokens as widely as possible, while Ripple took a different route, holding some tokens and distributing them strategically. By doing so, Ripple leverages the efficiency and lightning-fast speed of the XRP ledger, ensuring it avoids the long-term drawbacks of a proof-of-work system weighing it down forever. To truly grasp this core argument, let's focus on the key points. If you're getting bogged down by the difference between network decentralization and token distribution, you're missing the bigger picture. What makes these networks fundamentally vital to the future of finance? Yes, it's a lot to take in, but once you understand these foundational concepts, you'll see why the XRP ledger stands apart from Bitcoin. From the start, it was designed differently, addressing Bitcoin's early scaling challenges and issues with premature mass distribution. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you found this update insightful.